Next speaker is high school senior Noah Grove.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I didn't know what to expect from you guys. I didn't know if it'd be a little weak or not, but I'm Noah Grove. I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself. Thank you, Dr. Turetsky, for letting me come out and share my story. I was born on May 1st, 1999 at Pediatric Memorial Hospital. That was the day of the Kentucky Derby. At the time, my father trained racehorses. And instead of focusing on my mom, my father and the doctor, who at the time owned racehorses, they were watching the race. All right, so at 3.5 years old, I was taken to my pediatrician due to what looked like some bruising and red freckles on my body. Turns out after a blood draw, I was diagnosed with ITP, a low platelet disorder. Fortunately, I only needed 2 treatments of Winrow and was declared cured. But this was just a small bump in the road compared to what was to come. Less than a year after this, in February 2004, I started to have pain in my left leg. My parents took me to a pediatrician yet again, where an x-ray was requested because of my short medical history. My pediatrician was surprised when he got word from the radiologist that it could be a possible bone infection or a tumor. We were then referred to Johns Hopkins, where an MRI confirmed that it was looking more like a tumor. My parents went into research mode and decided that the best place for me at this point would be the Lombardi Cancer Center at Georgetown University Hospital, where I met my guardian angels, Dr. Aziza Shad and Dr. Jeff Turetsky. A biopsy was done within a week and a half of my initial pain. It was then confirmed that I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. On March 12, 2004, my Hickman line was put in, and I had my first dose of chemotherapy. Chemo continued through mid-May. Now, I know many of you have never ever been through chemotherapy, but it was probably the worst 9 months of my life. It was awful. You're sick all the time, and you can't really move or do anything. But the great help at Georgetown University, they brought in PlayStations for some of the kids to play, and they had art programs and art therapy. That's actually where I fell in love with my favorite football player. I don't know if you know who it is, Reggie Bush. I used to play NCAA 05 on the PlayStation. He was my favorite player, and if I had known that I could have brought in slides, I would have brought in pictures of me with him at I met him at a Ravens game a couple years ago when he was still playing for the Saints. Anyways, after hours and hours of research and second and third opinions, my parents ended up following the advice of my second opinion, and the doctor told my parents it's his leg or his life. I don't know why you're here. And that was, for my parents, that was really hard because you want to see your kid grow up and have a normal life, 2 legs. But they made the right decision for me. And on June 8th, 2004, so tomorrow will be 13 years? Yeah, tomorrow's 13 years since I lost my leg. That's when I had my leg amputated. I continued chemo, and my last chemo treatment was on October 21st, 2004. After chemotherapy, school came easy to me. I was able to go back to school as a kindergartner at Frederick Christian Academy. I was wearing a prosthesis within a year of my last treatment. I went on to public school in 4th grade at Yellow Springs Elementary, where I was awarded the Martin Luther King Jr. Award in 5th grade. After completing 3 years of Monocacy Middle School, I applied for as an accepted into the IB program at Urbana High School. On June 1st of this year, I graduated from Urbana High School as an IB student, a Maryland Scholar, a National Honor Society member, and with highest honors. I've also thank you guys. I've also decided to attend the University of New Hampshire while a major in biomedical science. I also hope to go on to medical school and eventually specialize in orthopedic oncology. I was going to ask if any of you guys here have any tips on how to get into med school, but I'm not sure if. Study hard? That's a good one. I know that some pediatric cancer patients who have gone through chemo found that some learning disabilities have come up as a late effect, and I'm very grateful to have not been affected in this regard. That does not mean that I was side effect free, but I'll get into that later into my talk. Rewinding a little bit, as I got older, after my amputation, my parents encouraged me to play sports. I played able-bodied soccer, baseball, basketball, you name it, I tried it at least once. As I got older, it got increasingly difficult to keep up with the other kids. But in the summer of 2012, my mom was introduced to the Kennedy Krieger Institute that offered sports for disabled children. She had taken me there before, but I really didn't have a desire to participate because I didn't really see myself as disabled because I could do like a lot of the other things that most of the other kids could do. But without telling me, she took me to an ice rink in Baltimore where the institute was conducting a sled hockey demonstration. I got in a sled for the first time that day and absolutely loved it. Now, this is where I would really, really like to have a slideshow because then I could actually explain and show you guys what sled hockey is. Is there any way we can pull one up, like a picture? Yeah, Google Images. That's fine, don't worry about it. Well, the first time I got in a sled, I absolutely loved it. Do what? All right.
Are you in any videos or pictures?
Can we go to my Twitter? Actually, no, let's not go to that. All right. That season, I ended up joining their team, the Bennett Blazers. And the next 2 years, we ended up winning the Youth National Championship at the USA Hockey Disabled Fest. That's a really old picture of me. That's a really old video. That's from my second year playing. That's a really, really old video. The second one is post-game comments from after my first goal, which I wish we could show that.
It's good to spread around a little bit and keep everybody thinking, just so we keep that work ethic and keep that tempo and we all play together. It's great to see Noah get his first goal.
It felt really amazing, but I wish Coach Sauer was here to see it. I was really trying hard in PEI when he was still there, but I still can't believe it, to be honest with you.
Well, I think Paul's playing very well for us. He's playing hard. From going to those hard-to-score areas, he's getting goals. And they worked a couple nice games.
Wow, so you guys got to see my first goal, huh? Yeah, everyone was saying that I was practically like crying with laughter after that, and it was a really special moment in my life. But, all right, continuing on. After the Youth National Championship, after the back-to-back Youth National Championship wins, I was invited to, each of those years, I was invited to the U.S. Sled Hockey Development Camp in Buffalo. And after the camp in 2014, I got a call saying that I had made the U.S. Developmental Sled Hockey team. But at the same time, I was training for the 2014 Amputee Soccer World Cup. In the summer of 2013, I had heard that there was an amputee soccer team playing in Rockville, so my parents took me there to see it. I was quite shocked when I saw that they were playing on forearm crutches and no prosthetic. I'd always played on my prosthetic, throughout all the years of playing soccer. But without my knowledge, my mom had brought my cleats. I was given some forearm crutches, a team shirt. I put on one cleat, and I was on the field playing with other amputees. As it turned out, I played really well and had a lot of potential. I was asked to join the U.S. team at a training session in San Antonio in the spring of 2014, and it was then that I was offered a spot on the U.S. National Amputee Soccer team. Many hoops had to be jumped for me to participate in the Amputee World Cup that winter in Mexico, as you had to be 16 to play in an international tournament, and I was still 15 at the time. All the countries in the tournament had to sign for me to play, and I'm pretty sure France was the last country to sign that. I was the youngest player in the tournament out of the 21 countries, and I scored 3 international goals, my bad. I decided to train and focus on sled hockey after that, after I was shocked to receive a call that I had made the U.S. National Sled Hockey team this last summer. I performed very well during the season, racking up a goal and 5 assists, and trials for the team will be this summer, and it will be for a spot at the 2018 Winter Paralympics in South Korea this upcoming winter. And because of this, I've decided to focus solely on sled hockey for the upcoming year, which is why I'm going to attend the University of New Hampshire. I'll be able to train every single day compared to some of the other schools that I applied to. As you all can see, the chemotherapy I received did not really affect my physical ability whatsoever. However, I have started to see some side effects. Last January, I was diagnosed with a strain of my left ventricle as well as some high blood pressure. This is thought to be a common side effect of the chemo, which I've heard that some cardiology effects have come about. My family and I was told that this was a precursor to some very serious things down the road, and because of that, I recently started on medication in order to combat this. In all, I feel that I've been able to live a somewhat normal life for a cancer survivor who received chemotherapy. I'm very grateful that I'm still able to do the things that I love and that I can live and tell the story that I want to tell. Thank you, guys. Is there any questions? Anything at all?
Noah, besides your clinical treatment, and I know you were very young at the time, but you also maybe touched on some of the other services that Lombardi provided, and I might add, you supported those services for the kids under to the unit.
Thanks. Services like art therapy. You want to comment on that and how important or what role those services in the treatment played in your recovery?
I think those are very important because most kids who are in chemotherapy, most of the time all they can do is like sit there and pretty much do nothing. Like it's awful. And so like having the things like the art therapy and having like people come in, like I'm pretty sure one time there was a clown that came in, that was just messing around or whatever. But those things really help the kids. And like when you have nothing to do all day and something like that comes about, it really allows you to like find something that keep you busy pretty much and keep your mind off of the chemotherapy, and that's huge. That's huge. I'm glad you guys support stuff like that.
I know I'm not a celebrity, but what can I do for kids going through chemotherapy? Can I go and visit them? Can I go and visit them? Can I like play my trumpet for them? Can I sit and talk with them? What can I do in order to make them feel better?
Definitely going to visit them would be something huge. Like even if you organize with like one of the floors to put on like I guess a concert for them, like something like that would be really cool for the kids. Just being able to get up and like walk around with the little holding the thing and the chemotherapy coming down. But yeah, definitely like going to visit them and talk to them, play games with them, bring cards, anything like that would be a huge help for them. Anyone else? All right, thank you. Thank you, guys.
I just want to thank Noah for being willing to come down and share his experiences with everyone. What I remember so vividly is when we were trying to decide, when his parents were trying to decide, given the options of what to do for surgery, one of the things that I think I recall saying to them was something like, well, Noah will grow up and he'll be walking and he really won't be bothered by this at all. And never in our wildest dreams did we think that he would achieve the level of athletic excellence and as well as academic excellence that he has. So it's really wonderful to see. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.